Hello and bienvenue. I am Joker, the Full Metal Joker. Now, before we get started with the topic at hand, I have to let you know two things. One, if you do not like what has to be said, please remove yourself from this video. Two, everything I have to say is mostly opinion based with a lining of truth. But if you feel like I'm wrong in certain areas, or I need more information in others, please feel free to contact me. You should already know how to do this by now. With that being said, with this being Black History Month, or African American Month, or whatever you want to call it, people can be summed up into three categories. The first category being individuals that just sees it as another month and continues on with their daily lives. The second group of people that sees it as a month to pay homage to those of African descent, African American descent, or whatever you want to call it. These individuals that, despite the color of their skin, achieved great things, showing that no matter your race, no matter the color of your skin, no matter what, if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. And then there's the third group of people that sit here and use this month to make fools of themselves, talking about how white people need to pay for their sins and how white people own slaves, so they need to pay reparations, and again make fools of themselves. I want to sit here and go, with this being 2020, slavery long gone, bigotry against those of African American descent, of African descent, again, whatever you want to call it, long gone. You still want to act like this. In the first world, pretty much the era of hate is over, yet there's individuals that still want to feed on that hate, that still want to use false bigotry and hatred to push how white people are evil and they need to pay for their sins. Here's a little something you really need to look into. First of all, not all white people owned slaves during the colonial period, during early America. It was a luxury thing that only the few wealthy individuals could afford. Also, not all slave owners were white. There were quite a few slave owners that were black. Also, not all slaves were black. There were quite a few slaves that were white, and so on. So, with that being said, you want all white people to be punished for a handful of people that own slaves. Does that make any sense? When your average, everyday person that's out there doing what they can to put food on the table, their family most likely didn't own slaves. Why are you doing this? People like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X wouldn't be wanting something like this. Wanting people to use a month like this month, or use their names in general for for hatred. They would be wanting you to use their names as something to stand upon, to become better as a person. Not sit here and call out about how white people treated black people badly a long time ago, so they need to pay for their sins. That makes no sense. Yes, it happened. Yes, bad things happen. What you need to do is look back, notice that it happened, and learn from it and move on. The people that were affected by that time, by that really awful time are long since dead. They've moved on. Why can't you? And before you go and sit here and go, oh, this is just another white man doing this, nah. I am someone that has some African American blood running through my veins. And I look at what the so called African American community is doing, and it sickens me. At times, when I see it, I feel ashamed that with all this time that passed, there are still people of African American descent, of African descent, whatever, that has learned nothing and is still feeding upon that hatred. Before I go, remember, hate breeds hate. Sometimes you've got to end the cycle of hatred and move on. Sometimes you've got to climb off that cross, use the wood to build a bridge, and get over it. That's the only way change will happen, is if you acknowledge that yes, it happened, but I'm better than that, and I will become a better person despite of what happened in the past. And with that being said, if you enjoy the content that I produce, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support this channel even further, feel free to check out my Patreon and PayPal me. However you choose to support this channel is greatly appreciated. Thank you, and good luck.